Hello everyone. As promised in one of my previous videos, I'm keeping up with the Legacy Standard Bible publications and trying to at least review one copy of each different edition that comes out. So this is the large print wide margin that just recently released. This one is in the black Cowhide edition, and you can see the box. These ones actually come in a two-piece box. The previous handy-sized premium editions came in the Bible armor, and then the non-premiums came in, I think, slip cases or just the box that they shipped in. So these ones actually have a Bible box. One side has your LSB Steadfast Bible logos. This side has your information. If you want to quickly pause that, you can read all that. Hopefully I'll get to all that in the video. The other side has a sample of your text, 10.5 font. And then the other side has your 3 commitments of the LSB and your ISBN. This one is printed in Korea. So here's the Bible. First, I wanted to mention that the grain on this is actually not as pronounced in person as it is on the website. If you look this Bible up on 316 Publishing's website, it looks like it's very marbled and really deep grain. I was not expecting it to really be that way, and it definitely wasn't, but it is still a decent grain, but it's definitely not anything like the cover photo. So you have perimeter stitching all the way around. Nicely done. This is a very thick piece of leather. Your spine has 5 gold foiled indications where the spine would be. So you have your Holy Bible, LSB logo, Legacy Standard Bible, Steadfast Bibles, and then your configuration of those markings: 1, 2 close together, space, 2 close together. Then the back does not have the ISBN stamped on it. Then you don't have art gilding. You do have the gold foil on the page edges. And then you have black head and tail bands. And 2 ribbons, a brown and light gold. These ones are a little bit long actually, so if you're going to err on the length of ribbons, go too long, because these ones I can cut to the length that I enjoy. So that was a plus. And another thing you'll notice with these ribbons, and I didn't catch this until recently, and someone mentioned it in one of the reviews, that the ribbons here look like they are a little bit scrunched up, and that's not an accident. And the reason is, you can see here, it's actually folded over halfway. This one's actually not, the brown one's not quite halfway, it should be, but this one's correct. So it's halfway folded, and that creates this arc in the ribbon, so where if you're folding to the right, it has a nice crease already there, so it naturally folds to the right. It's basically pre-folded. Then if you're going to the left, it's already halfway wrapped over, so when you go to pull to the left, again, you have a nice fold. So even though at first that may look like the ribbons were misplaced in the cover, and then also if you're going straight down, it nicely folds straight down. So that's actually a publishing intention there, or at least it should be. I think more publishers are starting to do that. I've noticed that in more Bibles, but it is actually a help for using the ribbons instead of a hindrance. Alright, before I get ahead of myself, the liner is a paste down liner of a vinyl type material. You do have reinforcement tape along the spine there, so you have that extra support. It is bubbling a little bit already, even here along the edge, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this leather is so thick. There's very little flexibility in the cover, but I don't think that's a bad thing, because this is such a big Bible that it needs a little bit more strength in the outer construction to keep it together. You do have your end sheet here, which is glued to the first of a few pieces of cardstock. And that leads to your Bible paper. You have your Legacy Standard Bible, large print, wide margin, your two logos, and then your publication page. You can see here it is printed in Korea in the January of 2022, so this year. I do like having those little timestamps, at least with these ones that they've had, because it is nice to see when it was published. And here's your forward to the Bible. And if you're not familiar with the Legacy Standard Bible, I definitely encourage you to read this. And one other thing I'll add, without going into a lot of detail, is that the LSB is a publication of the Lockman Foundation, so it's not a standalone translation. Lockman did endorse and oversee the publication aspect and the endorsement side of this translation. It is in the line of the New American Standard Bible. And I know that's an issue that will continue to come up as this Bible is distributed. You do have your books of the Bible there. You have your Old Testament page here, Legacy Standard Bible, and then Genesis 1. And it is laying flat. You'll notice that without the tab, such as with an edge-lined Bible, there's less hindrance to the pages opening up. So with this Bible, with even minimal use, it will lay flat fairly quickly compared to an edge-lined edition. So right off, you can see that 10.5 text. It is a really easy text to read. Great size. The 40 GSM paper is extremely opaque. I mean, you can tell from here it's barely ghosting at all. Obviously, you'll notice that a little bit more in the poetic settings where there's less words to a page and there's more space to see behind. But overall, there's very little ghosting in this edition. Very suitable for writing in. Your text is not justified, so it is hanging on the right-hand side of the page. You do have verse numbers in the outer side of the text, not inset. I really enjoy this layout particularly because it's really easy to locate verses, and you don't get confused about the verses being inside along with the text. The paragraph markers are indicated by bolded verse numbers. And then this one does have overcast stitching. I'm not sure if this is a thing, but this Bible is printed in Korea. And then another Bible that I reviewed from Thomas Nelson that was also printed in Korea also had overcast stitching, and it was not a premium edition. I'm not sure if that's a thing because it's from Korea or if that's just a random coincidence, but I did think that was kind of an odd correlation there. Someone might be able to help me with that, but I have no idea if that is related. Your margins are 1 3/8 inch in the gutter, in the outer margin, and then 3/4 inch in the gutter, so you have plenty of room to write if you want to. However, as with some other Bibles, this is not a layout such that it is incumbent upon you to be writing in this Bible. This is perfectly designed to just sit and read as well. So if you don't mark in your Bibles, this is not a big deal. It is a bigger Bible, so keep that in mind. But it is not a bad design just to sit and read, if that's what you intend to do. This larger print is definitely better for that discipline. So going along to center of the Bible, this does lay out very nicely. This is a more poetic setting, so you can see a little bit more ghosting, but it's not very bad at all. Here's some of the Psalms with the different poetic settings. Moving to the New Testament, you'll notice the biggest difference between this Bible and the handy size edition, other than the text size and the Bible size obviously, is the red lettering. Now this is the one thing I don't like about this Bible, and really it's the only thing, and that's primarily because I'm not a fan of red letter Bibles in general, and the red letter in this edition is quite inconsistent. So that's just a major downside to red letter. If you're going to have it, it needs to be good. And you can tell here, this is a really dark red lettering on this page, and then you flip to the next page, and immediately you can tell it's very light. And that's the trajectory throughout the entire New Testament of where Jesus speaks, is it's every other page is dark, every other page is light. And that's obviously a printing inconsistency. So I'm not sure that that's the case with every one of these Bibles, but for this one in particular, that was an issue. The red letter that is on the lighter side, though, is very nice, and it is very good red lettering. So if it could be consistent, it would be a very decent red letter. But that's beside the point, in my case. So going to the end of the Bible, you have your table of weights and measures somewhere back here. Monetary units, sorry. There's your table of weights and measures. Then you have 14 pages of dotted matrix paper. I like this style of paper. It gives you the option to kind of do whatever you want with your notes. I haven't used any of them yet, but they're there if you need to or want to. And at the end you have, again, several pieces of cardstock. This is really nice in case you wanted to rebind this Bible, because the extra cardstock in the back is beneficial for rebinding because you need pages to attach to. So I doubt they were really thinking for that purpose, but it is there and it is available if you want to rebind. Here is the handy size edition. This one is in the goat skin, so the yap does hinder the view from the text block, but it is a much smaller Bible than you would believe from looking at the cover. But compared to the wide margin, the size is quite significant. You can tell there's quite a bit of difference just in both height and width and thickness. It is much thinner. Then opening it up, the handy size is a 32 GSM paper. So again, the ghosting is going to be a little bit worse, but it's still not bad. But there you go, you can compare the two fonts. Oh, look at that, my lighting got brighter because I'm using natural light. Well, I guess you needed to see the text better. But there you go, you can see the two there. They both read really nice. They're not bad either way, depending on what you're using them for. This one obviously is a little bit more portable, easy to carry. The I think it's a 9-point font on this one. Is really easy to read. Just the type of font that it is, it doesn't really, to my eyes, it doesn't change much between the 9 and the 10.5. But it is noticeably different. But as far as readability goes, they're both great. So there you go. That is the LSB large print wide margin Bible in Cowhide. It looks like a great Bible. I'm really anticipating the reception of this particular edition. I know a lot of people really enjoyed the ESV verse-by-verse preaching Bible, and this is very similar to it. I might do a comparison review later on between those two Bibles. If you would like to see that review, just let me know. But I'm really looking forward to how the Legacy Standard Bible is received in the larger Bible world. I know it's fairly young yet, so it's hard to judge, but looking at how it's sold and just the publication success so far, I think it will do very well. I'm definitely looking forward to any new editions that they come out with, so keep track of that and definitely reach out to me if you have a particular one that you'd like me to review. So thanks again for watching and have a blessed day.